I'll get a bit medical for a moment, but it was acne vulgaris. It was those types of things that I fought with self-confidence because of that. I didn't want people to see me.
David Zaritsky, thank you very much for joining us. If you want to give yourself a little bit of an intro, let people know who you are, what you do.
Sure. David Zaritsky. I'm from a James Bond channel called The Bond Experience. That's where we concentrate on everything around Bond moments in life that include lifestyle moments, as well as sartorial moments, traveling, locations, interviews, you name it. Mostly YouTube, but we're supported by pretty much every other social media channel.
Just waiting for No Time to Die now that it was delayed early in the year.
We all are.
How did you go through your teen years? I mean, has your skin always been very healthy?
Absolutely not. So I have, it's been a long time battle. I'm 52 years old right now, and it's been a long battle with my skin. In my teen years, it wasn't horrible. Interestingly enough, as I entered college, I started to get a lot of breakouts, and quite frankly, it was some severe acne. So I don't know, I'll get a bit medical for a moment, but it was acne vulgaris, which is like, it actually has those eruptions and pustules. And, it was those types of things that I fought with self-confidence because of that. I didn't want people to see me. I'm usually a confident individual, but it would wane on those days where my skin just wasn't looking good. I tried every product. I mean, every product you can imagine, from chemical to prescription to non-prescription to witch doctors to TV commercials, everything in between. It was truly, truly a couple of things that changed. So my vocation, as you know, is the pharmaceutical industry. And as early on, I was a pharmaceutical sales rep. And one of the choices I made, and this is how important skin was to me, was to actually be with Roche Pharmaceuticals that sold Accutane. So Accutane was and is the most powerful drug to battle acne, severe acne. In fact, it's a bazooka, quite frankly. It's overkill for what people generally need. And it worked, but I still was getting skin eruptions even after this chemical compound. So I was a sales rep, but I was also a user, and that was one of the mandates, if you will, at the time in the pharmaceutical industry. What really changed my life was when I was about 35 years old. 35, the frustration of being a 35-year-old and having acne. What's going on? And an executive, no less. I was a pretty senior level executive at a company. So what happened was I started to look at a couple of things like diet. I really understood that things like iodine. I think people think fried food is a culprit. Yes and no. It's the iodine in a lot of the food that actually causes the sebacous glands to overreact. So I started to look into diet. I started to eating a little cleaner. My wife has always been a clean eater. The other thing that really started in my late 30s, and I'm not even getting to products yet, but I will, was little things about how do you exasperate bad skin eruptions. So I'm actually going to hold up for you something that hacked my life. This is a Japanese cotton, and it's from a company that I cannot recommend enough. And no, I'm not sponsored. It's called Contex, Kontex. It's from Japan. You cannot see how soft this is, but it has these soft nubulose. And the problem is that people do all this great stuff for their skin, and then they aggressively wipe their face, and it's abrasive, and then it exasperates the sebacous glands, and then you have eruptions. Skin, which causes a lot of the eruptions. And then I went very clean. I didn't want to use the sterile alcohol, the glycerins and things like that. So I started to use, I'm actually holding 2 products that I would use that has carrot and kendi, cedar and spearmint, things like that for both moisturizer and face wash. And I know I'm sounding a little complicated, but I always wanted to keep my regimen, if you will, my skincare regimen, simple. I want to clean, I want to moisturize, I want to touch up, if I need to, and that's it. I didn't want, 6 things in the morning, 12 things at night, masks, all these things. It's just not the type of person. I don't have time for that, quite frankly. But even shaving, I found that, the Barbasols of the world and things like that can strip your skin. So shaving cream, and I'll show you one in particular, Ernst Supplies. I started using this years ago. It is just amazing, and it's pretty much all natural. but it has a good glide against sensitive skin, which I've been dealing with all my life.
Yeah, so we're talking way more than, stress acne in college and that sort of thing. But the Accutane, do you think that's what helped to get you over the hump, and then it was product and lifestyle after that?
I do think it probably got me over the hump, but what the Accutane doesn't do is, if you have sensitive skin, and I do, in fact, right now it's hot in my home office, and you can see redness going on. So I have very sensitive skin. When there's a wind blow or I get overly heated, I get that type of like ruddiness, if you will. To me, water, tons and tons, yeah, I'm branding, tons and tons of water. And then when you think you've had enough, more water. But to me, that is not an Accutane thing. That is a constant feeding and nourishing your skin inside and outside to have good results.
Were you quiet about going through the Accutane and the process outside of your sales role, quiet about trying to experiment with products and find the solution?
I was, yeah. I think skincare, you're very lucky. You're much younger than me. Skincare in the 80s and 90s, you were a pariah if you were a guy focusing on skincare, truly. And maybe even now, to some people, it's all proportional. But quite frankly, it's moved out of the shadows, if you will. And now it's just, guys are just sitting there saying like, yeah, what do you use, Dave? You're 52. What do you use as a moisturizer? Well, I don't use Vaseline, and so I use the simple stuff.
So you can see now the benefits of taking seriously early.
And by the way, there's these, I'm going to get really scientific for a moment. There are these things called telomers, I forget what they are. They're like strands of your DNA that no matter what you do, you can moisturize until you're blue in the face. You tend to strip them over time. It's part of your internal workings. You can slow that down by making sure that your skin is nourished. And that's what moisturizing is. Good moisturizing is not to de-age you. And I don't use Botox, I don't have surgery, I don't do fillers or anything like that. And I know that can be popular for some men, but it's just a matter of dryness itself strips you of your skin. When I drink a lot, for example, when I have a good bender of a night, in the morning, I look like I'm 62 because literally my skin, the alcohol is stripping all those layers of moisturizing. So that's all it is. It's pretty simple, I think.
Yeah. So then, SPFs, that's big for wrinkles and that sort of thing. What's your routine look like today then? Is it you keeping it simple as far as, your shaving and your Japanese towels?
Yes, my Japanese towels. So I work out, I shower. When I go into the shower, I use basically a face wash. Simple face wash, little tiny bit in the palm, do my face. Do not shampoo every day. That's the other thing, shampoo itself. I love how people will clean their face gently and then use a shampoo every day, and the shampoo goes down their face and it strips their face. So you don't need to shampoo every day. It's actually unhealthy for your hair. It can strip your hair and your scalp. Then come out of the shower. If I do shave, obviously I'll shave first, moisturizing right away. Once I moisturize, I put on a little bit of SPF. So moisturize and then SPF, and the SPF is mandatory. I've got very fair skin. I look Irish and Scottish, even though I'm Russian. But yeah, I will burn thinking about the sun. So I wear a hat, and obviously the SPF. Then I don't do anything until I go to sleep. And then when I go to sleep, I just splash my face. I usually don't even use a face wash at night. I'll just splash my face just to get the oils of the day off my face. But then I do moisturize. And at night, I'll use a little bit around the eyes. Did I bring it down? I don't even know if I brought it down. Yes, I did. So just a little bit of something a little thicker, like, this Kiehl's is a little bit of thicker around the eyes, and I'll pat. I don't drag. I'll just pat around the eyes and here, because that's where somebody my age tends to get that like crinkliness. And then I go to sleep. And then I wake up and I do it again. So there's nothing during the day. I don't spray myself. I know some people do that, and they'll put some sort of like tonic and rose water on there. What's funny to me, John, you'll appreciate that, is I'm a James Bond guy. And if you read about James Bond is all about florists and alcohol. And I don't mean to bag florists. I love them as a company, but this is their Gentleman's Florist face cream. This is their GOF Trumper's Eucharist. This is all stuff Bond uses. I would never use it because the list of ingredients is like a mile long, and it's got all things that strip your natural like defenses. So not
A
for
lot
me.
of fragrance in it.
Oh, and tons of fragrance.
Yeah.
So talk about eruptions. It's heavy. Yeah.
Right. Now, did you have any experience with cosmetics before Stryx?
Every now and then, if there was something, and then I was going for pictures or something fancy, I'd be like, hey, Danielle, do you got any powder? Put a little powder. But the Stryx stick specifically, I think that was my first foray into it. Well, and, you didn't ask me to plug you, but I will say with Stryx, what I like about it is it's very subtle. It blends in better than anything Danielle would have done it in to say, like, hey, these pictures are going to last forever. Let me just do you up. The other thing is, I don't think it needs to be a shout out. I don't think I need somebody to help me with it. Again, these types of things are out of the shadows, which is so refreshing. So your Stryx stick, for example, I'll see something and I'll do a video. I'm doing something like this almost every single day with my hobby or with work. So I 2 Fridays ago, this is a perfect example. This is a real life Stryx moment. I had a pitch, and it was a multi-million-dollar pitch. That's what I do for a living. And it was a wonderful company, and I was the prime presenter, meaning my face on Zoom was going to be like this. 28 people internationally across the world. I shaved that morning like I normally do. Because it was a fresh shave, I had some redness. And I just wanted to take it down a little bit. So what I did was I used the Stryx stick and went poink, poink on the 2 areas, smoothed it in, went about my business. 2 things happened. Number 1, your appearance, unfortunately or fortunately, it means something. It's almost like a lack of distraction, but this is where it helped. I didn't have to think about it. I didn't have to go back to David Zaritsky as a 17-year-old and think, are they looking at this like bulbous skin eruption, or are they hearing my words? So from a professional standpoint, it helps both mind and body, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah, no, I got a little. You can't tell I got some on it, right?
I can't
from
tell.
This morning. Yeah.
Thanks for pointing it out.
Well, it's great. Thank you for joining us, David. We really appreciate you sharing the stories, and we're looking forward to bringing out more products so we can help everybody look their best.
Listen, I can't wait, man. I'm always trying to find something new and interesting, and you guys are doing it. So thank you.